spending an awful lot of time in Orange County. And for what it's worth in Fresno County, and for what it's worth in Los Angeles County, and Sacramento County, and up and down our state. Well, a lot of things have happened since we were all together when President Obama was here recently. And I've always been nervous about the letter K. Put three of them together, and for a nice Jewish boy, it makes you really nervous. Kavanaugh scares me. I must tell you, the show that's been coming, beaming out of Washington, D.C. the last few weeks is beyond despicable. It is beyond disrespectful. It's beyond disrepute. I remember when I was little, my grandparents saying to me, you can always go to the Supreme Court because they're the one place where justice really is blind. Did any of you see Kavanaugh's testimony? It was blatant partisanship. It was disrespectful to members of the United States Senate, and most of all, it was disrespectful to women. So to appease us, they do an FBI investigation. All right, well, I'll end there because I could do a better FBI investigation myself. Now, how many of you saw today's Los Angeles Times? Well, here's the good news. Donald Trump may be creating an environment in America that is anathema to everything that every good-hearted person in America believes. But when we put that gavel back in the hands of the Democratic Speaker of the House of Representatives, we're going to once and for all shut him down. Is not going to be able to prevent us from investigating and subpoenaing and seeing what the facts really are. And you know where that all starts? Right here. Every day I wake up and I try to say to myself, I want to be really hopeful today. I want to feel good about where we're at. But I'm afraid if I let myself feel too good, get too comfortable, then I won't work quite as hard. And I know if I give 5 minutes up, everything could change. And you know if you give 5 minutes up, everything could change. But that Los Angeles Times poll enabled me to at least begin my day recognizing that California is going to do what California has to do to save our democracy. Is there anybody in this room that doesn't think that a person who goes to work should earn a livable wage? Is there anybody here that does not believe that every child should be able to get a free, high-quality public education? Is there anybody here that doesn't believe that health care is a right for every single American? Is there anybody here who, just looking out their window, doesn't see that climate science is real? And so, Washington, D.C., they're trying to take it away from us. Well, I'll tell you what, when Gil and in the presence of somebody like Barack Obama or today's special guest, Vice President Joe Biden. That is only a down payment to make sure that each and every one of you do your job. If you have a child, if you have a mother, if you have a grandmother, if you have a friend, if you have anybody that you care about, you need to find time to help get these people into the Congress of the United States. So when you leave here later today, and Uncle Joe has you pumped up, I want you to remember, we each have a responsibility. Democracy doesn't come cheap. Democracy does not come cheap. It takes our commitment. It takes our hard work. It takes our turning out. It takes us calling our neighbors. It takes us sitting on a phone and knocking on doors and walking precincts and eating cold pizza and drinking cold coffee. But I want to say to you all, I'm swearing you all as ambassadors of the Democratic Party today, I need to get these guys out of California to Washington, D.C. Washington, that's not what will win this election. What will win this election is somebody like you, or somebody like you, or somebody like you, looking into the eyes of the person standing next to you, talking about something that matters to their life, and saying the fix to that is us getting these people in Washington and shutting Donald Trump and his terrible, terrible, hateful, divisive agenda down. Was running for re-election. I would struggle sometimes because, you know, the first 4 years were pretty rocky some days. And one day I was driving to go speak at an event, and the song Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow came on. And I got to the event and I gave this pumped up speech and I was feeling so good. I said, what the hell's going on with me? And I realized that song triggered me. It reminded me of the intensity. I want each of you to download that LA Times poll. I want you to keep it. I don't want you to get self-confident, but I want you to read it to know it's possible if you do your job. So each and every one of you, promise me, raise your hand, commit. I'm an ambassador of the Democratic Party. I want to back with these guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Democratic nominee for California's 39th District.
He's a leader who's done a a great job in our great state, who's helping to get candidates up and down the ballot to making sure that we have great people running all over. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for your hard work. For generously or graciously hosting us tonight. He's done a great job of educating so many people in our district, and I just want to thank them so much for the great work that they do. He was here at 10 He's going to come up here and say and I especially really want to thank, my fellow candidates that are here today in my district, TJ Cox, Katie Porter, Mike Levin. I can't think of a greater group of people that I'm so excited to be running with. It's been a great pleasure getting to know them these past few months, and we're going to go to Washington and we're going to do great things. The question I get, well, we're also going to get, I should say, a little bit later on. I also want to thank our special guest, but you're going to hear from him a lot later, right? A little later, you're going to hear from him. So thank you very much for our special guest. I think you all know who it is, but he's going to come out here a little later. But I really want to thank all of you for being here today. I mean, all of you are volunteers. Give yourself a round of applause. Dropping off yard signs, texting to people. I say to people all the time, I can only be in one place at one time, but our volunteers, you allow me to be in so many places at so many different times, and I really appreciate all the support that you're doing. I know I can feel very confidently that I know I speak for all of us, all the candidates out here, when I say thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. To make a difference. With your help, we're going to bring down this orange curtain. We're going to put up a big blue canopy that's going to cover not only the county, it's going to cover the state, and we're going to be blue here down here in Orange County for a long time. People ask me all the time, why are you running? Why are you doing this? And I tell them it's because my life has been about service. I'm proud to have served my country in the United States Navy. I'm proud to serve in the foundation for me and my wife investing in students because we know an investment in them is an investment in the future of our country. In 2016, I sat down with my wife and we talked about many of the issues that were important to us, like health care, education, common sense gun legislation, immigration reform, taking care of our veterans. These are all issues that are under attack from President Trump. And I felt an obligation to go out there and fight for what I believe in, fight for what my district believes in, and fight for what all of you believe in. Running for Congress is nothing more than an extension of the service that I've already given my country, and I'm going to continue that service in the United States Congress. Talk about how she served this district for over 30 years. Yeah, right. But really, the truth is, she didn't serve the district. She served one individual. She worked for one man. And her only job was to help him get elected. She was in charge of those constituent services that all of you here from the 39th that you haven't seen in a long time. Nobody answering your phone calls, nobody answering your letters, getting turned away at the door when you walk to his office. And now she wants to go work for President Trump in Washington. She wants to to repeal the Affordable Care Act. The President's tax scam, which is hurting Social Security and Medicare. She has an A+ rating from the NRA. She supported putting guns in our schools. And when President Trump was ripping children away from their parents down at the border, she refused to call them out. She actually said, well, we don't really know what's going on down there. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you what's going on down there because I went down there to go see what was going on. We need humane, comprehensive immigration reform. We need common sense gun legislation. We need real tax reform that's going to support working families, not money special interests. We need to protect health care and those born with pre-existing conditions. We need to hold those responsible. That's what we believe in, that's what we're fighting for, and that's why we need to vote on November 6th.
Which is right in the heart of our district. You know the story of an inspirational coach who takes a bunch of gangly teenagers from a farm worker town and turns them into a championship cross-country team. I mean, that exemplifies the perseverance, the determination, and the grit of the hard-working families of the 21st. Now, myself, I'm a native Californian and son of immigrants. My dad was from China, and my mom from the Philippines. I'm a family man and an engineer, a small businessman with a passion for community development. Now, my parents from a very young age, they taught me the importance of personal integrity and hard work. And growing up, my mother was constantly telling me, hey, look to Bobby Kita, which in Tagalog we say, get to work. But most importantly, they taught me by their example and their actions the responsibility to stand up for the less fortunate. And I can tell you, one of our favorite family stories is about my grandmother in Manila, right after World War II in the Philippines. And she saw a segment of our U.S. troops that were being discriminated against. They had no place to relax or hang out when they got off duty. And so she took it upon herself to open the first and only social club for African American troops in Manila. She not only felt a deep sense of social justice, she acted on it. And my mother picked up this baton and she worked for equal justice with the Equal Opportunities Commission. And this duty to act for both social and economic justice is why I'm running for Congress. You know, to me, there's nothing more satisfying than to bring about positive change in our community. It's why I started my company, whose mission is to invest in underserved communities throughout the Central Valley. Now, we guide and finance innovative projects that meet specific needs of our valley. In a region where over 50% of our families rely on Medi-Cal for healthcare access, I build community health clinics. In one of the most environmentally abused regions in America, we invest in clean, innovative energy plants. Where unemployment is 2 and 3 times the national average, I fund job training facilities.
Frankly, we work in the neighborhoods where the banks and Wall Street just won't go. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is trying to take away health care from 60,000 residents in my district. The Trump tax plan gives huge tax rates to corporations, just wealthy friends, and pays for it by taking food off the tables of our children. Trump's cruel immigration plan tears apart our families, devastates our communities, and is still locking up children in cages. And meanwhile, my opponent, he votes with Trump 99% of the time. I can tell you that in the Central Valley, life is hard enough without our representative working against us. We need people in Congress who are going to actually stand up to Donald Trump, who's going to work to get things done for our communities. Because we need to get back to that American dream that my parents worked for, that worked so long and hard for. That dream that all of us, no matter who we are, where we're from, we deserve the opportunity for a good life here in our home. And there's three things that I want you to remember, take away about me in the 21st edition. 16, 17, and 18. Hillary Clinton beats Donald Trump here by 16 points. Now, Democrats have a 17-point registration advantage. And now, in 2018, with your help, we're going to take back the seat, we're going to flip the House.
Today is the Democratic nominee for California's 45th district.
On behalf of all of us who are running, thank you, because without each of your time, your service, your dedication, and your hard work, we would not be on the cusp of flipping the House and taking it. I want to say a special thank you to Vice President Biden for being during the farm crisis. Grain prices have been high for years, and farmers everywhere took out loans for land and equipment, and then prices fell and fell and fell. And the town bank failed, closed up on a Friday afternoon. And no one knew if it would reopen or stay closed forever and take down the town with it. The federal government stepped in and saved my town's bank, but it didn't save the families. Neighbors lost their homes, their farms. We held on to ours barely, but the life that my family and so many families had made for themselves was over. The difference was that the banks had people in Washington that they paid to make sure the government protected them. And we didn't. And so the banks got saved, and we didn't. 30 years later, I was working in bankruptcy and consumer protection law. I was in a hotel ballroom, not unlike this, but with a bunch of lawyers. And I was giving a talk about a study I'd done about how banks routinely broke the rules. And I had charts and graphs and facts, and this showed that the banks walked into federal court, broke the law, and got away with it, soaking homeowners, charging them outrageous fees, lying about the size of the debts, and foreclosing on homes without giving people a fair shot at saving their home. I finished my speech in that hotel ballroom, and there was dead silence. Just like this. And then, way at the back, a gentleman stood up, and he was wearing a suit, cost the size of a small mortgage. And he said to me, "Young lady, Wells Fargo does not make mistakes." And I would think about that year after year after year as I work to help families have a chance to save their home, to stay in our communities. I worked on behalf of the state of California, the people of California, at the request of our then Attorney General Kamala Harris. And I remember what Attorney General Harris said to me. She said, "I don't care about these promises that these banks have made on paper. I care about the people." And that's what this campaign is about. We all saw that Wells Fargo, they do make mistakes. But sometimes they set out to make a buck off our backs.
Yes.
And our government looks the other way. Banks and corporations have people in Washington that they pay to make sure politicians listen to them, to make sure that theirs is the only voice in the room. We see it during hard times like the mortgage crash, and we see it every day as regular Americans are asked to take on more and more risk, more debt, just to be Americans, to go to college, to buy a home, to pay for retirement, to afford health care. And that's something that politicians in both parties have allowed to happen, and it's getting so much worse because of Donald Trump and Mimi Walters. For Trump and Walters, special interests, they're the only interests. And that's taking some of the joy out of American life, making it harder for us to feel secure. Because we know that no matter how hard we work, unless things change in Washington, if times get tough, the banks, the big corporations, they'll get taken care of, and we won't. I'm here to tell you today, that's not right. It's so powerful. We can change that. We have that power. I'm running because together we can make government listen to our voices, to families, to our friends, to our communities, and we can protect the future that we are working so hard to build. Thank you all so much. November 6th.
represents the Republican Party. And the differences between Dana and myself and the Republican Party and the Democratic Party are far and wide. Let me give you just a few examples of what Dana Rohrabacher has said. Dana Rohrabacher believes that climate change is a problem. Yep. And I know and you know that climate change is the greatest issue facing humankind. Dana Rohrabacher supports offshore drilling and even says the rigs are good for fish.
like you, do not support offshore drilling. Peter Warbacher said that people shouldn't have to sell their homes to gays and lesbians. Even though it's against the law in California and 22 other states. And that's why I have said the first piece of legislation I will add my name to is the Equality Act. Peter Warbacher says homelessness is a lifestyle issue. My wife and I started a shelter for homeless families in our 20s because we know it's not a lifestyle choice. It is something that we have to address, and separating families as homeless children or at the border is wrong. And Peter Warbacher has taken hundreds of thousands of dollars from big corporate money, big pharma, NRA, big oil and gas. And I and every single one of these other candidates has pledged not to take any corporate money. Peter Warbacher has a code name from Russia. I do not. Those are a lot of differences, but I want to talk about the difference that I think is most important, and this just happened a few weeks ago. And this epitomizes where we are with the Republican Party. Peter Warbacher was asked on Fox News if he thought Jeff Sessions, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, should resign because he's not loyal to Donald Trump. And Peter Warbacher said yes. Now, folks, I will tell you, none of these candidates, Congressman Luke, Vice President Biden, no one took a pledge to a President of the United States. They took a pledge to the Constitution of the United States of America that values that starts with we the people. And when we have elected officials inside the White House and elsewhere who turn a blind eye to those democratic ideals, those democratic foundations, to the basis of our republic, we know it's time to stand up, resist, fight, and flip the House. Keep in mind that in the primary, out of 175,000 votes cast in the 48th district, I won the second seat to take Warbacher on by 125 votes. So no one's calling me landslide Harley. But the point is this. Out of 175,000 votes, it came down to 125. So let me tell you how important it is that every door you knock, every phone call you make, every dollar you raise, every conversation you have with somebody to help them understand how important this race is, how important this election cycle is. Every tweet you make, every social media post you make can be the difference between winning and losing, between taking back the House or not. So when you wake up on November 7th, do not look back and say, gosh, I wish I had done more. Because with your help, with your volunteer efforts, with your leadership, we will flip the House. Thank you.
To be your Democratic candidate in the 49th Congressional District for my wonderful wife, Chrissy. I have no idea where she is. I could not have a better partner. There's Chrissy over there. Give a round of applause, my dear wife. I could not have a better partner on this journey. I think she's knocked on more doors than anyone. You know, the 49th is an amazing district. It stretches over 50 miles along the coast from Dana Point down to UC San Diego. And one of the things that makes our district unique is how much we care about our environment. And I've made protecting the environment my life's work. For the past 12 years, I've helped to lead in the fight for clean, sustainable energy. That work has helped to lower greenhouse gas emissions and reduce the impact of global climate change while creating the great clean tech jobs of the future. When I started this campaign, I was planning to run against Congressman Darrell Issa, who has held our seat for far too long. So I sent the congressman a copy of a book called Climate Change for Beginners. It's about 180 pages, has plenty of pictures, and it's written at about a 6th grade reading level. I don't think he ever read it. The good news is that after 68 weekly protests in front of Congressman Issa's office, he finally decided to retire rather than run for re-election. His hand-picked successor, Diane Harkey, is running in his place. And she also denies the existence of climate change, often saying that she is not a scientist. Well, in a district like ours, with some of the best climate scientists in the world, she simply doesn't have the luxury of being that uninformed. We must commit, once and for all, to protecting our planet and believing in science. We must commit to standing up to Trump's deeply corrupt Environmental Protection Agency that is trying to weaken protections against mercury, asbestos, lead paint, nerve agent pesticides, and even radiation. We must commit to building the innovation economy and leading the way towards the great jobs of the future in clean tech, biotech, and life sciences. We also must commit that with this innovation, we will lift up the working people of this country instead of just the wealthy. We must commit to investing in our schools, and our roads, and our bridges, and our future. Recently told Breitbart that if Democrats win back the House, and I quote, you can look it up, quote, it'll be like California all over the nation. Considering we're running for office here in California. I happen to love California. In fact, I've never been prouder to be a Californian. We're a hub of innovation. We protect our environment and we believe in economic opportunity. I think it's long past time that we had more of those values in Washington, D.C. We deserve who will fight to solve problems, not create more problems, and who won't just be a rubber stamp for the Trump administration. My friends, the 49th district is ready to flip. It is going to happen. In fact, all of these districts are ready to flip with your help and support.
stage the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee's Vice Chair, Congressman Ted Lieu.
Good afternoon. I've been taking on Donald Trump and his Republican enablers for the last year and a half, so let me first say what a thrill it is to now be in front of normal, rational, kind people. I'd like to thank Eric Baldwin and California Democratic Party, as well as the DCCC for putting on this amazing event. Give a big round of applause. And Vice President Biden, we're going to hear from shortly. He is going around the country helping Democrats fill the House. Give him a big round of applause. As a vice chair of the DCCC, and my region is Nevada, California, Washington, Oregon, Alaska, and Hawaii. I keep trying to get them to study in Hawaii. Most of the target seats are in Nevada, California, and Washington State, and in California alone, we can provide 1/4 to 1/3 of the seats we need to fill. We flipped 23 seats to gain control. We are targeting at least 8 seats right now in California, maybe 9, maybe 10, because you know what? When you get indicted, voters don't like you. In San Diego, and I think we have a good shot at flipping that seat. In addition, we have these amazing red and blue candidates who you have heard from tonight, and if they are on the red and blue list, you know 2 things. One, they didn't kill puppies as little kids. They vetted them, they have outstanding backgrounds. And second, they are in flippable districts, they have raised the money, and they have amazing ground game. So let's give it up for the amazing candidates. Let me tell you a little secret. I didn't run for Congress to take on this president. I served on active duty in the Air Force. I believe America is an exceptional country. After November 2016's elections, I gave a statement that went something like this. Donald Trump won the Electoral College. One of the great things about America is our peaceful transfer of power. We should give him a chance to govern. A couple months later, I concluded I was wrong. One reason I boycotted was relatively small inauguration. Going after the First Amendment and the free press, delegitimizing the judiciary, stifling internal dissent, and then lying at a rate I've never seen a human being lie. And it's only gotten worse. And this is why I think we do so well in California. He has managed, along with his Republican enablers, to put out policies that have harmed Californians. And many Californians are angry that the Republican tax law raises taxes on millions of Californians. We are angry that they're sabotaging the Affordable Care Act. We are angry they're about to put on the Supreme Court lifetime appointment who has multiple sexual assault allegations against him, who lied, and who showed a complete lack of judicial temperament. And they put him on, they own it, and they're going to see the largest ever angry red and women wave. But it's going to be very close. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen on the election night. We're going to win about 12 to 15 seats pretty easily. Then the remaining 80, we're going to win some by 125 votes. We're going to lose some by 300, win some by 500, lose some by 800. So everything you're doing is incredibly helpful to make sure we get to that 23 that we need. But because we have so many shots at it, I believe we're going to flip. But it's going to require your help and support. Make sure that you make phone calls, make phone banks, make donations, volunteer in these campaigns. And I think you should think about what Abraham Lincoln said. I think he had it right. He said, public sentiment is everything. With it, nothing can fail. Without it, nothing can succeed. Understand your power to shape public sentiment. Many of you understand because that's why you got tickets to be here. You weren't randomly, we didn't just go randomly in the streets to select you, right? You have shown your amazing dedication to this cause, and with this amazing groundswell support, I believe we're going to flip. We're going to do well in California, and look forward to working with you as we have a Congress that actually has a spine.
Introducing the man of the hour. Champion for working people, for education, and for our veterans. He stood up to the NRA. He's spoken out for equality and inclusion for all. My wife and I are proud to support his It's On Us campaign to end sexual violence and sexual harassment on college campuses around the country. He's been an example of class and bipartisanship. He's won respect from both sides of the aisle. He has the ability to get things done and get results. And he's not done. He's not done yet. He's not done yet. Through the Biden Foundation, well, I should say, through the Biden Foundation, him and Dr. Biden and his wife are continue to work on the issues that have defined their careers, strengthening the middle class, protecting the rights for all, and making workplaces and college campuses safer for women. He's been a voice for Americans who have needed one. I admire his record of service to our country, and I'm honored to have him here in the 39th. Put your hands together and let's welcome your uncle, my uncle, our uncle.
Thanks, brother.
It's great to be here, and I want to start off by saying that, you know, Gil, and then I'm not going to spend any time talking about this, but I just want to mention it though. Your reference to the Violence Against Women Act and It's On Us, unfortunately seems more appropriate today in light of what's been going on in Washington than it should be. And folks, I just want you to know, the reason I started the It's On Us program with the permission of the President was that I found out when I wrote the Violence Against Women Act, it's the proudest thing I've ever done in my life. And I did it after the way Anita Hill was treated as a kid. And there were two things I did as chairman of the Judiciary Committee. I committed that there would never be another hearing where there weren't women on the Democratic side of the committee. And I Feinstein and a woman is no longer there, Carol Mosley Braun, on the happy I did that. But folks, there is, the reason I started the SNS campaign and made me hear permission after this is all over, I can come back on campus because I go all over campuses all over the country. But the point of the matter is that we made great progress with the Violence Against Women Act. And I asked the president when we got elected if I could take it from the Justice Department into the Vice President's office. So I hired and I was in charge of the entire operation. We had two great attorneys general who allowed me to do that, and it elevated the effort. But one of the things, I had a wonderful woman who helped me write the act, named Cynthia Hogan, and I'd have her go check with the Bureau of Justice Statistics every 6 months the progress we made. We made enormous progress for women over the age of 30. The number over the period of the previous 20 years, what happened is that violence against women has decreased by 67%, more reporting up, etc. All good, except one thing. It was most disappointing news I think I received in my career. That for women between the ages of 15 and 25, nothing had changed. 1 in 5 dropped off this September on campus or August on campus. They're going to find themselves a victim of sexual abuse or rape on campus. The reason why more women drop out of college has nothing to do with academics. It has to do with being harassed or worse. And that's when I started. So I had a virtual town meeting with 30,000 high school and college students. And I asked them, I said, what would you want me to do to make things better on your campuses? And I was embarrassed how simple the answer was that I hadn't thought of. Over 40% going to the website, I forget the exact number, but it's spontaneous, open-ended question, said get men involved. So guys, let me get something straight with you. Not a joke.
That's
I'm
right.
not kidding. It's your responsibility as much as it's anybody else's. It really matters. You know, Gil's a Navy veteran, and he's, his philanthropy is real. He's strengthened our public schools. He created college opportunities for students, and Gil, you've given countless veterans causes. You've given 2 countless veterans causes. My wife is involved with military families, and you are a household word. What you're doing, I mean, you do what you say. You do. Program right here in 39th, so we have a lot going on. But look, folks, TJ Cox is here. We have such an undereducated group of candidates. TJ's an engineer. He's he's an entrepreneur. He's invested in this community. TJ's helped start the Central Valley Fund, which has raised and invested more than $65 million to build health clinics, job training centers, affordable housing, clean energy plants. These projects have created more than 1,500 well-paying jobs and have brought health care to over 40,000 people in the Central Valley. Are you listening, President Trump? That's what governments are supposed to do. My son was Attorney General of the state of Delaware, a good friend of Kamala's, and he was, I think he was fair to say, he did 2 things along with Kamala and the Attorney General of New York. We decided that when he decided, I remember getting a phone call from my son Bo, who's passed away, and saying, Dad, I hope it's okay, but I don't agree with the administration. We're not settling with these guys. We're not she protected California families from predatory lenders, securing $18 billion in damages. Another thing in your career. No, I really mean it. It's a gigantic deal what you did. You and Tom. And so look, folks, and Harley, if I had Harley running in front of me when I was playing the University level, I could have done all American. I big. Boy, it looks like he can still hit, doesn't he? It looks like he's still playing. But he's a businessman, unlike his opponent. And he's a fighter for California, not an apologist for the government. Southern California has clean tech, green energy, and it becomes the capital of the world. California's led. California's led. And Mike Levin. He's got more than a decade of experience, man, and working his job and creating good jobs, clean energy sector jobs. People can raise a family on it, send their kids to college. Most of all, each of these candidates, and the most important thing, if you ask yourself, all kidding aside, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, you ask yourself, what has changed, what is most missing in today's Congress and Senate and national politics? In both parties, it's women and men of character. I was a 29-year-old kid in the United States Senate. You have to be 30 years old to be a senator. I was elected before I was old enough to be sworn in. Not a joke. I had to wait 17 days to be eligible. And when I won, in the year that Richard Nixon won my state with, I think it was 62% of the vote. I won by a landslide, 3,200 votes. After that, every candidate running statewide would come up and say, Joe, what's the secret? There had to be a secret if I won. And I say, these guys are going to understand. There's one secret, folks. Have you figured out what's worth losing on? Have you figured out what's worth losing on? It's about principle. It's about dignity. It's about respect. It's about knowing why you want the job. So many people today, particularly the other party, I know well, I get on well with Republicans. I really do. If you remember, in the last administration, our administration, every time there was a problem in Congress, I'd go up and settle it. Because every one of my colleagues in both parties, I respected them. I never questioned their motive. I severely questioned their judgment, never their motive. But when you question motive, you can never get to an agreement. Never question the other person's motive. But their judgment, that's legitimate. We can reach consensus. But so many of them know better. I don't know how they get up, not a joke. And go out and vote, want a job, and you have to vote the way you don't believe when you're walking the floor. None of these people ever do that. Before I get into a couple of specific issues, I'm probably not going to talk for more than 15 more minutes, but here's the deal. Before I get into some of the specific issues, I'm going to talk about, well, this election is much bigger than politics.
Yes.
I mean, it sincerely is. Whether you're a first-time voter as a student, or you've been around a long, long time, this is the most important election you've ever voted in, and it may be, God willing, the most important those of you who young have to vote in. Our humanity is being tested. Our core values, the American story, is being assailed. The fabric that has always held us together through good times and hard times, being shredded before our eyes. attested before, Americans have faced down our share of zealots, madmen, and ignorant ideologues and hucksters who see public office a way to make a buck off our backs. But we've never faced a moment like this. Our institutions are methodically under assault. Our free press is being slandered as fake news, repeatedly, time and time again. Legitimate investigations are dismissed as witch hunts. The truth itself is being thrown aside in favor of occultish devotion to the whims of one man. Look at the behavior of many Republican senators during the recent testimony of Judge Kavanaugh. Look at the behavior of this president every day. Lies have never been more brazen. Blind rage and brute partisanship has never been more palpable. I said it a year ago after the horrific events in Charlottesville. Barack and I agreed we were going to remain silent and give the president an opportunity to get started, just like W gave us an opportunity to get our feet in the ground as he said administration. But when the historic city of Charlotte did, I couldn't remain silent. I wrote an article for the Atlantic magazine, and I said, and I believe this from the bottom of my heart, we're in the battle for America's soul. I think that every day, I think of that day, how the mask was pulled off, the mask of hate. White supremacists and Nazis slunk out of the dark rooms and the digital highways, literally out of fields, carrying torches, as well as Nazi banners, singing and chanting the same exact anti-Semitic bile. Same exact anti-Semitic bile as it heard in the streets of Nuremberg in the 30s. It's not hyperbole, literally. Accompanied by white supremacists and Ku Klux Klanners. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the same lost souls who have long stained our history. Years ago, they stood like cowards behind sprays of fire hoses and flames of burning crosses. Today, they call refugees animals, prop up immigrants as a source of all our problems. They abide the sight of infants being ripped from the arms of their mothers. I'm telling you, man, look, I'm going to say something outrageous. I know as much about American foreign policy as anybody around. I've met every major world leader. We were embarrassed worldwide about what happened. Hopelessness and despair of hollowed out cities and towns. The difference now is we have an American president who sees a moral equivalence between the forces of hate and those forces of hope. Did you ever, not a joke, did you ever think you would hear a president compare, make the moral equivalence, good people in both groups? Folks, this is a moment for us to declare what he can. And there's no place in America for giving aid to safe harbor. That's right. The world is watching. Based on our American values. Seated global leadership to tyrants and thugs. Talks about love letters with Kim Jong-un. Deals to Putin in ways that are destroying Europe. And they decided, and I'm not making this up, just pick up the paper. They decided that they can't trust America anymore. We made a sacred obligation. We signed on to NATO in Article 5. Yes. The President of the United States says, I'm not sure we will defend you. Whether it's little Moldova who just came in, or the Baltic states, she paid more money. Folks, this is not who we are. Yes. This is not America. America is unique among nations. Look, throughout history, religion, around tribe, or around ideas. America is built on an idea. Great experiment. It's not a joke. It really, truly is. It's an idea manifested in 1,000 little things. How we treat each other. Whether we afford people the dignity they deserve. Whether we act fairly. Whether we speak with decency. Leaving nobody behind. Understanding that there's things bigger than us individually. This president has put his own interests before this idea. Amassing power and abusing power. And this Republican Congress, to my overwhelming disappointment, is some good people there, is choosing party over country because they're afraid of this president. And folks, it's not hyperbole to suggest this. Our kids are listening. Our kids are watching. Our children are hearing all this. And our silence is complicity. Silence is complicity. Folks, America knows who Donald Trump is. The question for all of us is, who are we? Who are we? How do we reassert what we stand for? Who are we? You know, there used to be a basic bargain in America. The bargain was if you participated in an enterprise that succeeded, you got to participate in the success and the profits. That bargain was the bargain that built the middle class. Middle class is not a number. I have some really fine economists who work for me. When you ask an economist here at this great university what the middle class is, they'll give you a number, $52,570 or $54,000. It's not a number, it's a value set. It's about being able to own your own home and not have to rent it. It's about being able to send your kid to a park where you know they're going to be able to go home safely. It's about being able to send them to a local public school where if they do well enough, they can get to college. And if they get to college, you'll figure out how to get them there, by hook or by crook. It's about being able to take your geriatric mom home after your dad passes away. And hope your children never have to take care of you. It's having just a little bit of breathing room. The license to dream. That's what the middle class is. My dad, who was a graceful, decent, high school educated man, a well-read man, used to say, because we moved from Scranton, Pennsylvania, when the economy died. If you listen to Barack Obama, you think I climbed out of a coal mine with a lunch bucket in my hand. My dad was a white, my whole family was from Scranton. My dad was a white-collar worker, high school educated fellow. And we moved down to Delaware. We stayed in Delaware. All right. And because there were jobs down there. We stayed with my grandpa for a year because, you know, the hardest walk any mom or dad ever has to make is up a short flight of stairs to sit down at the kid's bed and say, honey, you can't go back to that school this year. You can't live in this house anymore, honey. Daddy lost his job, and mommy lost her job. The most frightening thing for a parent is to be helpless in front of their children, not being able to change things. So when people in recessions or tough times in the mid-50s on would be in trouble to lose a job, my dad would say to me and my siblings, I don't know how many times you heard this, Joey's job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in the community. And always end by saying, it's about being able to look your child in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. Think of how many people don't think they can say that today. Hard-working people. Many working 2 jobs in a family, and 2 working 4 basic art of work. Because when the middle class does well, the wealthy do very, very, very well. And the poor have some hope. I was in Xi Jinping. I've spent more time with the Chinese president than any world leader. For real. 25.5 hours of private dinners, just he and I, and each with an interpreter. Traveled 17,000 miles. We're in Chengdu, a city that's now 22 million on the Tibetan Plateau. And he turned to me and he asked me, he said, "Can you define America for me?" I said, "Yes, I can." And I meant it in one word: possibilities. We are the slowest of every other nation in the world. And one of the reasons is because anything is possible is about possibilities. It's about much more than just fairness. It's about, without the middle class, I mean, the reason we have been the most socially and politically stable country in the last 150 years is because of our middle class. During the Depression, when the rest of the world, we maintained our social and political stability. Almost every other country in the world did not. It's because of this aspirational notion of the middle class. But that bargain has been broken. You know, from the end of World War II to 1973, the productivity grew by 96%. 96%. And wages grew by 92%. That was the bargain. From 73 to today, wages grew by, productivity grew by 77%, and wages by 12%. It's a big deal, man. If you may be booing, I hope if you're booing, you know what it felt like because you're part of one of those families, because it's real to them. It goes to the core of who they are. So what happened? Some of the economists will tell you it was globalization, artificial intelligence, Moore's law. That had something to do with it. But you'll not find a single economist who will tell you that made up more than 15 to 20% of the difference. Let me tell you why it happened. There's been a steady, unrelenting erosion of the right for an individual to bargain for their self-worth. Not just the attack on organized labor. Leave that aside for a minute. I'm a labor guy, but let's leave that aside for a minute. Do you realize, maybe you do, nearly 40% of all workers at some point in their career will be subject to a non-compete clause that prohibits them from taking another job in the similar industry. Well, you say, well, that makes a lot of sense. If you're in Silicon Valley, you work for one company, you're going to go to another. It makes a lot of sense. But you realize most of those workers are hourly workers. Do you realize you work for Jimmy John's? You sign a non-compete agreement, you can't go to McDonald's and take a job for 15 cents more an hour without violating it. Do you realize that if one of those folks who drive the trucks with the oil to supply the highway contracting crews, that you can't go to another job in Texas within 100 miles? What possible reason can that be except to suppress wages? What possible reason? Also, we have a complete lack of transparency. Of the majority of the Fortune 500 companies, these guys do this, you have to sign an agreement that says you will never discuss what your wage is. You're facing that penalty. Now, what possible reason could there be for that? Because if you women are standing next to a man doing the same job, and he tells you he's making 10 grand more than you, you have a reason to go and say, I want a raise. Folks, I mean, this is cumulative. Do you realize that what's happened for hourly workers, and they get reclassified as management? Well, the way they reclassify as management, you're stocking shelves, you control the guy who has the cart that comes up that's automatic, you're a manager. What does that mean? You no longer are eligible for overtime. You know how much that cost hourly workers last time? $10 billion out of their pockets. Why? Why? Greed. Greed. Folks, there's so many things out there that we can stop in a heartbeat. We also need to recognize, in the 21st century, 12 years is not enough of education. Remind us. The reason for America's rise economically in the beginning of the 20th century was because of one root cause. We were the first major industrialized nation in the world to provide 12 years of non-means tested education for free. It took until the mid-30s for most nations to begin to catch up to us. Now, if we're sitting down and doing it today, would we make only 12 years available? You know we would. You know we would. We've eliminated shop and all those other things that were not everybody should go to college. People make a good living by the use of their hands. But guess what? The vast majority of high schools don't have it anymore. Do you realize that with few exceptions, and maybe you went to one of the schools with an exception, for your science requirement, you can't take coding? I mean, think about it. Think about it. What the hell are we doing? By the time our kids reach the age of 5, so much of the brain is already developed. There's no debate about this anymore. That we still wait so much longer to begin to give our kids exposure to education. We should be investing in early childhood education. One survey shows that many of kids in poor families, as opposed to working class families, here, by the time they get to school, 30 million more words spoken. You hear what I just said? Just spoken. Tell me, the kid from the home of minimal means can't have an IQ, the native IQ as high as the kid from a home that's affluent. Well, what kind of disadvantage would these kids have? The vocabularies, by the time they reach first grade, are so disproportionate out of whack. It's hard to ever catch up. Okay? We're the wealthiest. Let me give you one example. Getting a sufficiently advanced degree ought to be free for everybody. Input. When the president asked me to do a study, remember the statement he used to love to turn and say, Joe's going to do the following? He never tell me he's going to do it. It's like moonshot. And Joe will be mission control. Next time. Or Joe will handle the $87 billion recovery act. Joe. Sheriff Joe. Well, 5 years ago, he said, Joe's going to do a study on the jobs in the future. We interviewed with cabinet people I brought in, for 340 of the Fortune 500 presidents. And they all said basically the same, what do you most need? They said we need more qualified workforce. Better educated workforce. They're not spending much money training them. But that's what we need. Folks, we can send every single qualified American to community college, raising the number from 6 to 9 million in community college. By the econometric studies, increasing productivity by 0.2% per year, almost $1 trillion over 10 years, for $6 billion a year. That's a big spend of Biden again. Well, you know what? I didn't know this though. When Reagan was president, there were $800 billion worth of corporate-type loopholes and charitable-type loopholes. And things were supposed to generate productivity and good behavior, etc. You know what it is today? $1,600,000,000,000 loopholes. $1,600,000,000,000. One of those loopholes I didn't know existed because when I did my financial disclosure, all my colleagues made fun of it. I did my financial disclosure as vice president. The headline in the Washington Post, you can Google it, said, Biden, it's probable no man has ever assumed the office of vice president with fewer assets than Joe Biden. I assume that I'm talking financial. My net worth is between $50,000 and $150,000. And when I left after 44 years, it was between $50,000 and $150,000. Because I made a commitment that I wanted my independence, that I never own a stock or a bond, that I never engage in business enterprise, even though those were totally legitimate, and I never accept an honorarium. Anybody had this before the Congress? And then I compounded it. I compounded the problem by sending, I have 3 children, they all have graduate degrees, and I paid tuitions at Yale, Penn, Tulane, Penn, Syracuse, and Georgetown. It's a formula for disaster. I never heard of this thing called stepped-up basis. Hope some of you know what it is. Stepped-up basis means you make a gain in the market, and you say you buy stock and buy it at $100,000, it's now worth $200,000, you go to sell it. You pay a capital gain on the $100,000 you made. But if God forbid the way to sell it, you hit the figure like you get hit by a truck and you die, leave it to your son or daughter, they pay nothing. Well, it's not an inheritance tax, it's a tax owed 10 seconds before. That cost the government, out of the $1.6 trillion, only $16 billion. Eliminate that one loophole, I can put every single solitary qualified student in community college. I can cut in half the cost of $40. By another $1 billion. Folks, there's answers. These aren't, this is all our will, they're not beyond our control. Healthcare. Rock and I thought we finally settled the argument whether healthcare was a right or a privilege. There's so many people. Healthcare was out of reach. The cost. I can remember my dad, maybe some of you can, going to bed at night staring at the ceiling after the company he worked for had lost their pension and they had no health care. Staring at the ceiling, not a joke, thinking, if I get cancer, we lose everything. We lose the house, we lose it all. The single biggest reason for bankruptcy up until we passed this was health care costs. So we thought we fixed it. And look, millions of Americans now understand what the ACA meant to them. It saved their lives, brought peace of mind. It means you don't have to stare at that ceiling tonight. But look what's happened. These guys have made a full court press on eliminating the Affordable Care Act, putting millions of people up to the age of 26 off their parents' health care plan. There's 16 Republican attorneys general going out and saying it's unconstitutional to tell insurance companies they can't charge extra for pre-existing conditions. Putting in jeopardy millions of people who can't have health care because they got a son or daughter with severe asthma or they have a problem of some consequence. Ladies and gentlemen, but the real reason why the Republicans are going after this is the same reason they're going after Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. Some of the guys remember that when I was asked by Nancy Pelosi to speak for all the congresspersons on the steps of the Capitol in fighting their attempt to eliminate health care, the Affordable Care Act, I said, this is about a lot more than health care. This is about trying to eliminate and make room for a tax cut. These guys passed an outrageous tax cut that created a deficit of $1,900 billion. Now on campus here, ask any economist, no matter how conservative they are, whether or not we can possibly tolerate that deficit for the next 10 to 12 years without bankrupting the economy. So what are they doing? I said at the time, no one wanted to listen, thought I was making it up. This is all about their ability to go in and justify doing it with programs they couldn't take on directly, but now we can take on because they say we can't afford it. Case in point, Medicare. Do you realize $560 billion. $560 billion. Why? To cut that $1.9 trillion deficit. Why are they going after the ACA in addition to not thinking that Americans are entitled to it? Because that's where the money is. Why are they going after Social Security? Do you realize the vast majority of the people in nursing homes, 70% are women? Of those 70% in nursing homes, they are people who, in fact, have lived the majority of a middle-class life. But in order to get to that nursing home, they had to sell everything they had. Their home, whatever savings they had, whatever it was, to sell to get in the home. And once that money runs out, there's only one thing that keeps them in the home: Medicare. Now you tell me what's going to happen when they eliminate the Medicare savings they have. What are we going to do with those somewhere in order of 50% of all the women in the nursing home? We put them out in the street? No, I'm serious. That's what we're talking about, folks. That's what we're talking about. There's so much more to say about this, but I'll move on to one last thing. The environment. To live a middle-class life, you got to live in an environment that protects your health. Be able to drink the water that comes out of your tap. Be able to breathe the air. Be able to live in a neighborhood that is not a cesspool. But what's happening? I'm the guy that wrote the regulation saying no more lead in gasoline. The reason is because all the was 4 years ago. You know why? Because so many kids in poor neighborhoods were dying of lead poisoning in the paint and in the neighborhoods with the gasoline, with the exhaust from automobiles. That was killing thousands of people, particularly in poor neighborhoods. So what do these guys look at this administration? The EPA is being decimated. The administration is allowing polluters to poison us for profit. It goes well beyond the 49 Paris Agreement, which is bad enough. Weakening the clean air standards that means more money for families at the pump. You know, one of the things we did, we're so proud of, is increasing the mileage requirement, which companies went for. Cutting down on the amount of carbon fuel that we have to burn, saving thousands of lives. What are we doing? We're paving the way for rescinding the regulations on the amount of mercury that can be in the air. The NIH has said there's no safe level for exposure to mercury in the air. Yet these guys are saying, no, we can tolerate more mercury in the air. This is the most non-science-based administration in modern history. Think of what this will do for our children. I can go on. Look at all the regulations that are eliminated. Just look around. We see more extreme weather. You see here in California, ever think you have to worry about hurricanes a lot? Get ready, pal. Not a joke, unfortunately. Rising sea levels, more we know ocean temperatures. When Barack and I came to office, you know what the United States military, the Joint Chiefs of Staff said the greatest threat to American security was? Global warming. You know why? Because as the sea rises, if it rises only 1.5 feet in Indonesia and other parts of the world, it's going to take millions of people and displace them. They're going to move to other territories and fight over control of where people can live. We know this is happening. So folks, there's a lot to do, man. But here's the good news. The folks standing with me here today, in the democratically controlled Congress, are going to take this president on. By a stroke of a pen, being able to turn it around. I'm so Oh, it's so much trouble. Damn it. Damn it. It's totally within our capacity to restore the civility, the respect. And I've always been listening to the White House optimists and folks. The reason I'm more optimistic than when I got elected when I was 29 years old, we're better positioned, and this is not hyperbole, we are better positioned as a nation to own the 21st century than any nation in the world. Not close. China's going to own us. God love China. I want them to do well. But guess what? They not only don't have enough energy, they don't have enough water. Not a joke, unfortunately. Water. They're having trouble figuring out how they $1 trillion project to redirect their major rivers. Over 30% of their arable land is polluted with cadmium. They're in a situation where they have a kleptocracy in the so-called princelings that even Xi Jinping is trying to fight because he knows he can't maintain control. You ever see anybody walk around Beijing without a mask on? They're dying at 4 times the rate we are here. There'll be more cancer cases in China than all the rest of the world combined in the next 20 years. Xi Jinping would change places in a heartbeat with this president. Every world leader I know, and I met every one of them. But folks, here's what we have. We have the most powerful military in the world, but that's not what it is. It's not the example of our power, it's the power of our That's the source of our security. We have more great research universities in the world, and here in California, than all, this is not a privilege, check it out, students, than all the rest of the world combined. In the United States. Every major fundamental life-altering occurrence that has been invented in the last 25 years has come out of one of those research universities. And guess what? Y'all paid for it. Y'all paid for it. We have some of the most productive workers in the world. American workers are 3 productive workers in Asia. We're the most capitalists in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we remember who the hell we are. We can own the 21st century. We need to, because there's no other nation in the world that can supplant us to providing the links of stability for the rest of the world. Because we know, what's the history of this country? Unlike any other nation, we know ordinary people, given half a chance, can do extraordinary things. That's not hyperbole. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. That's what we're about. We should set about resetting the moral compass of this country. Itself as it is now because of this president. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. So folks, lift your head up, man. Yes. Time for us to get up. Every time I walk out of my grandpa Ambrose Finnegan's house in Scranton, he was an all-American football player at Santa Clara University when Irish Catholics didn't get to go to college back in 1906. And he was a newspaper man. Every time we walk out of his house, he'd yell, Joey, keep the faith. My grandmother yelled, no, Joey, spread it. Go spread the faith.